I am your host, Leah Dunlap, and you are listening to the Oracle on Purpose podcast, where we help intentional leaders clarify their purpose and next steps to create a work and life of significance.
Hello, I'm Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose, and I have a little story, a fable, if you will, to share today. I was just getting off of a call this morning to welcome new members of the Purpose and Prosperity Accelerator, the early birds, if you will, into the program. And I recounted a story that I'd heard many moons ago. And it was about geese and how they fly in formation. And the piece of the story that I had shared was about what happens when one of the geese may get ill. However, I wanted to share something else, which my husband, who happens to be a student pilot and has flown airplanes, we were talking about lift and why, and he was sharing with my son how the reason that geese fly in the V formation, like what the process is, why they do that, and that it has something to do with lift. That because of the arrow V formation, that it allows them to fly farther, faster, and with more ease. They're all carrying a part of the burden of lift. And I think that's important to bring into view and focus when we talk about how, as a society, as a humanity, we have the capacity to bring each other support, to lift others up. And you might have heard, many people have said this before, the phrase, a rising tide lifts all ships, right? All boats. So does the congregation of geese, the flock of geese, when they are in formation, when they are bound together in that formation, they are lifting each other up. And one of the things that I was talking about today that is part of this, and I think that when people are looking at how they are trying to accomplish things and they're strong, driven, passionate people, they can often feel like they have to do it alone. That they, in order to achieve, right, the achievement has to be done on their own without help. And I was reminded of this piece of the story as I'm teaching my young son from home and helping him with his work that he needs to do on his online courses. And I noticed he was getting frustrated and because he wasn't understanding the instructions. But rather than asking for help, he was trying to push through on his own. And the other day when we were sitting together, I said, let me read the instructions with you. And when I read them, I noticed that he didn't understand one of the words, a very important word in the instructions. So he couldn't have possibly completed the task without that knowledge. And instead of asking for help, he gave up. And he went on to do something else. However, when I explained to him what the word meant, the light bulb went off. And he's like, oh, now I get it. Now I know. And he was able to complete his work. He was able to finish. And it just took someone else who knew the way to explain the process so that he could do the work. We're not talking about carrying people when we're talking about this idea of lift. To lift one up, right? To lift, to elevate, to lighten the load. Not to take it on or take it over. And I think sometimes we can fall into this trap when we are doers, when we are very strong leaders, especially if any part of our life in the past has been even a tiny bit traumatic, right? We might have come through that process, right? That hero or heroine's journey, feeling as if the only reason it matters that we made it is that we made it on our own. We did it on our own, or we overcame things on our own. And we get stuck in the trap of thinking that that's how it's supposed to be. That's what real success looks like. And so we might feel like trying things that are new or different have a greater risk than they actually do if we think we have to do it all on our own. And so this idea and the story of the fact that the birds that travel together, these geese that travel together, the part of the story that I shared next was that the geese, if one of them is sick and needs to rest, 2 others stay behind and they fly back down or they stay on the ground until one of 2 things happens. The goose that is sick gets better or passes away. They stay. They stay together. And because they stay together, when the other 2 take off, they're again supported as they fly away. They don't do it alone. It's natural, instinctual for them to do it together. And that's this idea that I think can really help people to get more, right? Create more, be more, manifest more when they recognize that they're not doing it alone. You've heard me say more than once that the universe, life doesn't happen to you. It happens through you. But we are the you. We, all of us, we are the you that it's happening through. So if you think about this, ask yourself, is there a place in your life right now where you have a big goal or you have a big vision and you just don't understand the instructions, right? You don't understand. You can see where you want to go, but you're not quite sure what steps you have to take to get there. And rather than pushing it aside again, maybe for the millionth time, what would it look like if you put it out there and asked for help, asked for support, right? You have to ask. People need to know that you need help. But here's the other piece. This is this last little piece that I didn't really cover this morning, and it was playing in the background, so I want to share it here. You need to take the help that is offered. You need to be willing to not only ask for the help, but to take the help, right? You know, in this vision of these beautiful geese coming down to stay with the one who is wounded or hurt, they don't push the others away. You know, they don't squawk at them, say, I've got it. I got this. I can do this. I can do it by myself. I don't need anyone's help. There's a greater knowing that they are better together. That lifting up comes from being present with each other. That's the beauty of a real group that is focused on success, is that it's not just about the individuals, but the group. It's about everyone getting to the other side together. About circling back to help those that are lagging behind, not leaving them on their own to flounder. A good, purposeful, prosperous group of masterminds would willingly know that everyone succeeds when everyone is supported. And that's what lifts the group up. That's what lifts us all up. That's when the information that you have is multiplied in that mass, in that container, and therefore lifts everyone up. And we don't always know what that little piece of information will be. We don't know whether our own journey is exactly what someone else needs to hear to be inspired to take one more step towards their own journey. We learn together through that experience of support. So whether we're lifting and flying forward or relaxing, right? Coming back to center, still in that space, we do better together. Remember, it's not 3 wounded birds on the ground. As the story tells it, it's the wounded one, the harmed, hurt, angry, frustrated one, and those who can help, support, and lift them that go to rest. And when it's time to let go, they fly on. They fly on knowing that they're going to be meeting up with the rest of their flock. And they fly on knowing that they've given what they could to the one that's passed. I think in light of recent days and the passing of the notorious Ruth Bader Ginsburg, that many people were hit with that news in a way that knocked them off their own course, left them feeling wounded. I feel like this is a time when, looking at that experience, we see the life that she lived, the inspiration that she was for the purpose that she believed in. And I see it as a challenge to continue forward, knowing that she lifted us all up while she was here. And there's a sense of honor in the leaving when we acknowledge that and use that to lift each other up in the ways that are ours to lift. I'm getting really excited about my next group program with the mastermind because I know that this energy is needed right now. People need to be pulled together for not just the betterment of the community, but that when we are in a space where we are manifesting and creating amazing things, the vibration that we bring together, that's a sign of lift in the world. For everyone that moves away from the group and comes back into the group, week by week, they're taking with them that extra buoyancy, extra inspiration, dedication, commitment to building something beautiful with their lives, doing real work. The idea that we can come to rest together, that we can lift together, and that when needed, we can relax and let others take care of us, to see us, to recognize our needs and offer support. I think that's absolutely beautiful. I think that's something that, as it's unfolding, touches so many other things in the world and brings light where there might seem to be darkness. So, are you a bird who needs support? Do you feel like you are ready to fly and perhaps you need a little lift to help you get off the ground? If so, it's not too late to join us in the Purpose and Prosperity Accelerator group. And even if you don't, I want you to know that I'm here. And I'm happy to be one of your wings and support you as best I can to find your way back to the skies. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. I'm Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose. You are here on purpose.
Thanks for tuning in to the Oracle on Purpose show. If you found value in this episode, we'd appreciate you leaving a comment. Also, you can subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't yet. If you'd like to get clear on your highest vision and next steps, go to oracleonpurpose.com. See you next week.